Hello, Taurus. Welcome to your weekly reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you're watching this reading was meant to find you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Taurus, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with the Fool card. You are a very playful person. I think that you appreciate comic relief, and very often bring the comic relief. I think that in times of stress and hardship and uncertainty, people come to you because you have an ability to make people feel comfortable, to make people feel at ease. And maybe it is through humor. Maybe it is through play, right? I think that you're someone who likes games, that likes comedy, that just likes doing things for their own sake. They don't have to be funny things. It doesn't have to be humorous. You enjoy doing a lot of different things just for the experience. Maybe you're knitting a sweater, not because you're trying to give a gift or you're trying to sell your sweaters or something, but just being there doing that just for its own sake. Because the Fool is an energy that doesn't have an agenda, doesn't have a plan, doesn't have a purpose, just wants to be in the moment, doing what the moment sort of needs, spontaneity, creativity. This is a card of talent. I think that you have a talent for spontaneity. I think that you have a talent for just enjoying whatever the heck you're doing. There are some people that could find just joy in waiting at the bus stop or something, or like going to the DMV, And I think that you're one of those people. Yeah. I don't think you've always been that way. But I think you're trying to be more of that. It doesn't, sometimes we have to do what we're doing in life. Sometimes we got to be waiting at the doctor's office. Sometimes we got to be sitting in traffic. And, mostly it's waiting, right? We're waiting at the bus stop. We're waiting in line. We're waiting for this or that. We can find ways to just enjoy it. And it doesn't mean that we have to then get on our phone or get a book. Or we could just sit there and just do what we're doing. What am I doing right now? I'm just waiting. Okay, well, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to have fun waiting. I'm not saying, I need a distraction. Quick, give me a distraction. I'm just here. And I'd rather not be waiting. But I'm here. There's other people. I can be in the moment. I can be present with my environment, right? And that, I think, is something that is becoming more important to you. Now, I'd like to put this energy into a little bit of context. We're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. The Star. Interesting. The Knight of Cups. The Lovers card. The Queen of... interesting inside-outside cards, right? We have Water of Fire. We have Fire of Water. It kind of feels like it's kind of opposite day a little bit, right? And there is that Ace of Swords. With the Star card, I feel like you're trying to open yourself up. You're trying to just sort of empty your mind, empty your heart, clear away everything. And in every moment, we can just be here now. I know that sounds cliche, but by opening ourselves up to the energy of the moment, we're letting in that divine light. We're letting in that conscious spiritual awareness. We're letting in the spiritual light. And I think that spiritual light is going to give us the clues that we need in life. Show us what really is important. Show us who we are, what we're made of, and where we're going, right? What we're meant to do. Leading us to a perception of the truth, I think, by clearing away distractions and things like this, we're able to more clearly receive the divine message. See, this is the Ace of Swords. It's the antenna on the top of our head, right? And if there's a lot of storm I know with our internet here, right, if there's bad weather, our internet gets really terrible. Real slow, real choppy, kind of, a lot of interference. But when the weather's clear, when we've risen up above all of the stress, all of the turmoil, all of the turbulence of life, we're able to perceive so much more clearly the messages from the divine. And I think you're somebody who is really trying to just be here now and connect with connection, connect with life, connect with the world, connect with spirit, inside and outside. Yeah. And I think that I kind of feel like this is a bit of a maybe not a new path for you, but I feel like this is something that you're consciously focusing on. I'm very curious about the inside-outside cards here, okay? And I kind of feel as if, in some ways we're trying to be a little bit more stoic. We're trying to be a little bit less driven by just how we feel in the moment. Well, I feel, let's say, I'm waiting at the doctor's office. I feel bored and I'm just going to get this bad attitude, right? Whereas if I just say, yeah, I'm bored and I'm capable of handling a little bit of boredom, I can find a way to enjoy this, And it doesn't mean I'm just getting on my phone or getting a book and getting distracted, but maybe we're sitting there in this waiting room and we're, trying to, we're trying to count the spots on the wall, or we're trying to sort of analyze the artwork that we see on the wall, or we're looking at different people and kind of wondering, well, where did they come from and where are they going and why are they here, It's kind of a guess the illness kind of game or something, but we're in the moment, right? We're not trying to close our eyes and pull ourselves out of the present situation. That we're there and we're finding a way to connect with it and make it interesting. And we start counting the spots on the wall, and pretty soon the hour or two go by and we're next to go see the doctor or whatever. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, Taurus, please let me know. Let's put the rest of our cards on the table and then we'll get into this one by one. 3 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune, and the 8 of Swords. The 8 of Swords as a long-term sort of outcome, I think it's interesting because we realize that, life is going to be mostly confusion, mostly chaos, mostly us doing repetitive things, thinking repetitive thoughts over and over and over again. That's kind of the way the world works. How many times in a day do you think the same things, and then tomorrow you're going to think the same things again? But in all of that, there are these moments of clarity. In all of that, there are these moments where we can just sort of take a time out from being in our head, right? And we can just be present in the moment. And so sometimes it feels like those moments where we spend doing something we really don't want to be doing, those are those moments that we need to really be present and be connected with. Put our consciousness outside into the environment. It's almost as if that fool is losing a sense of self. The fool doesn't have a self. The fool is just pure awareness. Doesn't know that it is a point of view. Doesn't have a point of view, right? So it's not a self-centeredness. It's not a self-consciousness. It's our ability to just function out here in this environment that we're in without that kind of self-referential attention, And so it is in these moments. Maybe we're waiting at the doctor's office, we're waiting in line, we're sitting in traffic, we are doing some task that we really don't want to be doing. But I think primarily in those periods of time where we have to wait. And maybe we're doing a lot of waiting right now at this time in our lives, Waiting in line, we're waiting for something to arrive, we're waiting for someone to get ready, we're waiting for the doctor to see us now. It's in those moments where we can get out of our head and we can have the clarity and we can connect with what is around us and have these, and it's in these moments, I think, that we get the most insight, right? And then, of course, we go back to our mental sort of habits and stuff, and things continue on as they should. I feel like that Ace of Swords is really important right now. Let's select our mystery card, our bonus card, our confirmation card. This is the factor infinite and unknown. It's going to go right here with Mr. Ed, our tiny horse. I am also a little hoarse today. And I apologize. I'm getting over some laryngitis, but feeling much better. Yeah. We're not going to look at that card till the end. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments, all that good stuff. Yeah. Let's look around the room. We see the Lovers, the Fool, and the Wheel of Fortune. The Lovers, of course, is inspiration. It is commitment. It is, I think, feeling as if we're achieving some kind of a union. Okay. And how that leads us to the Fool, well, I mean, if we take a Lover's card and a Fool card together, it's kind of a fool in love, right? But I think that if we try to, and even with the Lover's card, I know it's kind of a card of union, but what if it's separating ourselves from something? What if it is separating ourselves from ourselves so that the Fool can just be pure awareness? In order to get that clarity, to receive the light of the divine, we have to sort of empty ourselves. We have to detach from everything that we're attached to. Yeah. And the Wheel of Fortune, of course, is the serendipity, the luck, the synchronicities in life. We're not going to see any of that divine energy if we're so wrapped up in, well, if we're so wrapped up in our Eight of Swords, which is basically very self-referential, because the Eight of Swords it's a figure eight. It's the lemniscate, right? It's looping back in on itself. Our thoughts go out. It always comes back to me, always comes back to me, always comes back to me. That everything in the world that I'm conscious of, it only exists, I'm only aware of it in terms of how it relates to me, rather than just putting our consciousness out there and, and trying to, compare what's out here and to maybe count things or to create little games or just to interact and find interest in what's going on around us. Even if you're doing some really boring work, right? Finding a way to sort of make it fun. And pretty soon we forget about ourselves and hours go by and we say, oh, well, it's time to go home already, So we've got good major arcana. That star energy, I think, is really, it's really the important thing that we're trying to invoke in our life right now. And that's a strong connection with the world around us, with our spiritual nature, with the spiritual insight, and with the divine light that permeates this universe. Okay. We've got fire, we've got water, we've got our air, and we have our earth. Okay. It perhaps is easy to focus, to focus but kind of defocus our attention as well. It's easy to get clarity, I think, when our life is very simple. But when our life is very complex, it's difficult to have any kind of perception outside of that complexity. And so I think it is in those in-between moments where we can just find those simple moments. We can get the clarity. We can see the synchronicities. We can experience the divine really working in our lives, and we can see a little bit more about who we are, where we're going. That's what the star card is. It's us trying to ask the question, who am I and where am I going? And it's in those moments where we kind of feel that fool. We say, I am no one going nowhere. We get that jolt of spiritual information, that download, right? That gives us a sense of who we are and of where we're going, and then we get to it and we make life very complex again. So I think, like I said, you're somebody right now that's focusing on trying to be more in the moment, trying to be more playful, trying to just find interest in those things that we have to do in life that we may find boring, we may find useless. We may find things very pointless. We may feel helpless in this situation that we can't do anything about it. Okay, that's a given. That's a fact that we don't have to keep stating over and over and over again. We let go of that. We let go of ourselves. And we just say, I'm here, I'm stuck here for the however long. Let's find something to do. You know, let's find an interest in, let's look around. You know, let's just observe. Let's find something interesting that we can compare, or that we can, a problem, a puzzle that we can solve out here in this environment, you know. And I think that's how we really penetrate deeply and get that deep insight into not only the things that we're looking at and the situation at hand, but into ourselves too. Okay. The star card is telling me that, you know, there is a big answer to that question coming for you. Something truly amazing is happening in your life. I think you're understanding beyond the shadow of a doubt who you are and why you're here. I think the spiritual light is showing you where your obstacles are inside of you, and showing you where those buttons are that get pushed, where your knots of karma are. And Spirit is also showing you those things out in the world around you through signs and symbols and synchronicities, showing you those things that you need to focus on and engage with, showing you what's meant for you. It's like you're in a video game and there's certain things that just kind of sparkle. And you say, well, okay, that's an item I'm supposed to pick up, you know. And it's kind of like that. Things twinkle a little bit differently when you know that it's meant for you. But we have to be paying attention. We have to take advantage of those moments where we're bored, or when we're waiting for things. Those are precious moments. Why would we waste that by staying in the complexity of, you know, distracting ourselves, right? And you could say, the argument could be made, of course, that by engaging with this world out here, that we are distracting ourselves. Yeah, I mean, we are. We're forgetting ourselves, and we're putting our consciousness out here in the world, and time's going to go by faster, and we're going to get the heck out of there. The waiting will be done, right? But that's different, I think, than distracting ourselves with ourselves, you know. But even, you know, if we were to open up a book, well, I'll forget myself and I'll just be in the book. Or I'll go on my phone and I'll start looking at YouTube or the news or something, Google News. And I'll start shopping, you know. And I forget about myself. Sooner or later, the hour goes by. Good. Maybe I've bought some things on Amazon or whatever and watched some cool YouTube videos or a nice tarot reading by your favorite tarot reader. So those are distractions as well, right? But they take us out of the present moment. They take us out of the physical space. They take us out of our bodies. They take us out of where we are. And yes, we're projecting our consciousness out into the environment. So technically, I'm out of the body. I'm a fool. I'm zero. I'm nothing. I'm just pure awareness of what's around me. I lose the sense of self. Right? But it's here in this environment. Now, whatever, I'm not making any judgments on anything, but I feel like that's what you're about right now. Whether it's right or wrong, I feel like that's what you're doing. Okay? The Knight of Cups underneath everything. I feel like you used to be a person who was kind of always needed some sort of always needed something to kind of, needed to satisfy some kind of desire, right? This is a Cancer energy. This is a Knight of Cups. This is someone I think that's always reaching for something, always wants something, needs something to pull inside, okay? And this is, this is fire and water. I think that this is really an urgent need to kind of to fill up something, to I need something. I have to always be drinking something or eating something or grabbing something or consuming something, right? Even if I'm just consuming information on my phone or something like that. This is one of those, this is kind of an appetite, a hunger, right, that never ceases. But I think what you're trying to do now is kind of the opposite. This is fire of water. This is water of fire. Now you're finding more satisfaction, not in filling, consuming food or drink or information, right? Impressions, which is very self-referential, right? This is kind of not. This is saying that, we're finding more peace and calm and joy and satisfaction by not considering myself and just being aware of what is outside of me. Yeah, and I think that's the Fool, this loss of that sense of self. The loss of that self-awareness or that self-consciousness. And now this is somebody that is not trying to consume. The attention now is not on me, right? The fire here is inside. The attention is on me and what I'm feeling and how I need to consume things to fix that or to satisfy that or whatever. But now the fire's on the outside. The attention is just on what is out there. Okay? And the inside is the water. The satisfaction is there. The fullness is there. And the attention can go outside. Yeah. And it makes me wonder about this Lover's card. I don't know if this was maybe a recent partnership that maybe a new relationship, or if this was a new inspiration. But I feel like that Lover's card is a moment in your recent past where you felt an inspiration, where you felt that there was a big change in your life. And it may be this was like it felt like a spiritual awakening. It felt maybe like a spiritual union or a mystical experience of some kind. Okay? Because I feel like it was in this moment where we had that. Maybe this is maybe you got together with your true love, your soulmate, right? And now this experience it's inspiring you. It's motivating you now to I think to get outside of yourself. Yeah. This doesn't have to be a person. It could be that romantic thing, falling in love. Yeah, that could do it for sure, right? And it's that's really the obvious example. But this really could be any kind of inspiration. This is something that is bigger than we are. This is a commitment, a choice. This is something that you chose to commit yourself to, that now is taking you outside of yourself. It's something bigger than you, right? It's something that goes, it almost necessitates that we kind of put ourselves, kind of in the back seat, and this is something so much bigger, right? And I think, and I mean this in the very best way possible, that it's something that's more powerful than you are. It's something that is inspiring you. It's inspiring awe. It's inspiring your attention. It's demanding your attention. Maybe this is a relationship. Maybe it's a pet. Maybe it's a child. Maybe it's a purpose. Maybe it's the new job. Maybe it's the new sort of the social issue that you're taking up. Maybe this is the holidays coming up, that sort of thing. Maybe this is some kind of a religious activity or a big event that's coming up. It could be any of these things. It's taking you outside of yourself, right? It's the realization that there is, that this union, this thing is greater than I am, is bigger than just me. This is you and something else together is this big thing, and it makes we forget about ourselves, right? And I think this is something that has happened to you recently, and it is that kind of a commitment, whatever exactly it is. And in the future, I think in the very near future, the immediate future, you're going to find a clarity. You're going to find this sense of purpose. You're going to discover your own truth about who you are and where you're going, what you're made of, and what you're supposed to be doing in this world. And this is truly amazing. We thought this was huge. This is truly amazing. To get that sense of purpose. And that's going to be that satisfaction that we see here, that our attention can be on what is going on around us, and that really brings you the inner satisfaction there. Not what we see down here with there's this burning desire, this yearning inside of us, and I'm out here trying to consume. I'm trying to pull things into me because there's something in there that needs to be quenched, And so then it's kind of going from a self-concern, a self-referential energy to then a focus on the outer, a focus on the other. You know, I think that's a big shift in you. And I think this Ace of Swords in the future position, the immediate future for you, is going to be filled with purpose. It is going to be, it's going to be your mission in life, you know. And I think that this is really a life-changing thing. It's an inside-out perspective, right, between the two court cards here. We're going to talk about the path of the serpent. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, though, please do. It is free to subscribe, and it really helps me out, supports the channel, and I appreciate that. So your general energy is a Three of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles is work, usually hard work, right? It's the understanding the process of creation on the physical plane. You know what it's going to take to fulfill your destiny, to follow your truth, follow your path to, if this is some kind of an event or whatever it is, you know what it takes. You know the blood, sweat, and tears that are required to get it done. And in this kind of work, there's no room for that self-consciousness. There's no room for concern over ourselves, you know? We're not getting like that Five of Swords, right? Or the Five of Cups that is just concerned about kind of what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, what's going on within me. It's very self-conscious and very self-centered, right? Because and it's kind of more the self-consciousness where in every moment we're sort of worried about, you know, we're too aware of what we're thinking and feeling that it prevents us from really functioning in an optimal way outside of ourselves. You see what I mean? And this is really us realizing that this situation is demanding so much of you. There's no room for that kind of self-consciousness. You have to get out here and do it and work and act and behave in this way that I think is filled with purpose for you. There's no room for our, almost the ego, there's no room for ego, you know. We understand what's required of us, and it leaves no room for any of that. Now, in the environment, you've got a Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles to me feels kind of like, kind of the tedium. I know it's not an Eight of Pentacles, which maybe would be a little bit more like the tedium and the boredom, but this feels kind of like, this feels more like monotony. This feels more like even the key word for the card is failure, right? I don't really quite like that in this context because I feel that this is kind of, it kind of seems like the work that you continue to do is just, it's not producing any results. And so it's just, it kind of gets boring. You know, like when you're doing something over and over and over again and you're kind of feeling like, oh, I'm bored, this is boring, right? It's because there's no change. It's because nothing is happening. It's just kind of like it's the same old thing over and over again. So this is like when we're waiting at the doctor's office and literally nothing is happening. That's why every time you hear the doors open, everybody looks, what's happening? Something's happening. Otherwise, it's just the ticking of the clock and everybody turning their pages on the magazine. And it's just like, we're looking around like, okay, something's got to happen pretty soon, right? So this is that kind of a boredom, you know. This is like, you know, the boredom that says nothing's happening and I'm sort of anticipating something happening. This is kind of that energy that we have to push through. This is where it's very necessary for us to resist the urge to distract ourselves with something or to take us to do something, to take ourselves out of that situation and put ourselves somewhere else. We're so concerned about ourselves. So, you know, you're the kind of person I think that is in that doctor's office or you're in that waiting room and you're not looking for a distraction inside or to, you know, pull yourself out of the environment. You're just looking at the environment. And you're finding the interest. You're looking at people's shoes. You're looking at the art on the walls. You're looking at the carpet. You're entertaining yourself in a way, right? By I think getting out of yourself. But this is the environment that we're talking about. And I think that part of your mission in life is going to involve getting through some of these kinds of situations where there's going to be a lot of work and not really a lot's going to be happening right away. Okay? There is still a great deal of success and a great deal of progress even in these moments, even if these are failures. We're failing forward. Even in these moments where we work all day and nothing happened, right? There was still a great benefit, right? Because you learned a little bit more how to get outside yourself and how to just be in the environment, how to be just pure consciousness, right? And you developed certain skills and qualities and virtues, obviously, of having pushed yourself to endure something that on the surface, looking at it, may not be very fun. We're trying to think of something that's really boring, right? Watching paint dry or watching the grass grow, I think watching the grass grow is the good one because you can't really see it grow, right? And so you put somebody in a situation like that, you say, okay, get down on the grass, stare at that grass right there, and watch it grow. Somebody do that for 5 seconds, and they'll say, screw you, I'm out of here. It's boring. You're an idiot, right? But then there is somebody that can forget about their own self, forget about that ego. They could get down on the grass, they could see that blade of grass, and they could spend hours watching that grass grow, looking at all the striations, the fibers of the grass, and trying to figure out what kind of grass it is, or how it might be different than other types of grass that you've seen, looking at the soil that's down there, and seeing how tall it is compared to the grass around it. The other little blades of grass maybe are shorter. How'd this one get so tall, There are a great many ways that you can see all the little bugs that are going down there, around there, and how they might be contributing to the quality of the soil, and that's helping the grass grow. You could really make a day of it, And that is a tremendous skill. Tremendous skill. It leads to this, it helps you to develop patience for one thing, right? But it helps you to appreciate the subtle. It helps you to appreciate the world around us a little bit more and not always need to be pluck ourselves out of whatever environment we're in. Yeah. And maybe sometimes we feel like our work is just tedious and it's like we're watching grass grow. Okay. We can apply those same skills to that. The next card, of course, is the Wheel of Fortune. This is what we've been waiting for this. This is the serendipity. This is the luck, right? This is the synchronicity. This is the good fortune. And I think that if we are so bent on plucking ourselves out of our situation, out of our environment mentally, and we just sort of check out, when we do that, we miss all of the benefits of being in that environment. We're going to miss a lot. If we're not paying attention to the world around us, we're not going to see the signs. We're not going to see the synchronicities. We're not going to see the opportunities. We're not going to see the doors open. We're going to miss things, Sometimes I'll be engaged in some kind of task or whatever, and or I'll be even just sitting with my wife, right? And I'll be zoned out somewhere else in my head. And my wife will be like, oh my God, did you see that thing or that person or that, did you see what that car just did? And I'm like, what? No, I didn't see it. How many times have I missed out on observing something and having an experience, a once-in-a-lifetime kind of experience out in the world here, because I was here, I was looking, but I was checked out, And so I feel that by you tuning in, really tuning in to life, you're going to see a lot of opportunities for growth, for expansion, new opportunities, new doors, new lights are going to turn green for you. You're going to be in harmony with the environment. You're going to be in harmony with the world around you. Doors are going to open. Okay? And I think that your life is going to become very, very different through this work. And it takes practice, because what's our long-term thing? We're still in an Eight of Swords. Years and years of practice, and we're still going to find ourselves completely checked out of our reality. When, not when we really need to be engaged. We don't do this while we're driving, right? But even when we are driving, we don't need this rumination. We don't need this self-referential attention always looping back in on ourselves. We have to be out here in the environment, experiencing, being in harmony with what's going on while we're driving. We're in touch with the car. Our bodies are here, and we're holding the wheel. Our feet are on the pedals, or whatever we're doing. We still can't check out even in those times. So we still don't want really that Eight of Swords in anything that we're doing. Because the Eight of Swords is just kind of like I'm stuck in my head, and I'm just looping back in on myself. No matter what I see in the environment, oh, that reminds me of me. I look at something else, oh, that reminds me of me. And I just keep thinking about me, 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 me. And I'm practically oblivious. Oh, did you see that car almost smashed into us? Oh, no, I didn't see it. You got to be careful with that, right? It's one thing to do it when you're just sitting in a doctor's office waiting, but then, and of course, when they call your name, you just sort of snap out of it like, what planet am I on? I mean, we're going to see a lot more of life when we stay present. Let's look at our mystery card, okay? The Wheel of Fortune, I think, is a wonderful energy. And the Wheel of Fortune, too, it's in this weird position. It's kind of the obstacle, right? But as part of your character, I think that this is your ability to really find the benefit and the good fortune and the abundance and the wealth and the profit in any situation you're in. Even the most boring waiting, you're going to find such richness, such abundance. You're going to walk away thinking, wow, I gained so much from waiting in line at the DMV. It's going to be such a rich experience. I think that's fantastic. Of course, we're always going to be dealing with more of that Eight of Swords. That's the human condition, right? The mystery card, if you have a prediction, please put it in the comments. I'm anticipating here some water energy. I want like a 9 of cups or 6 of cups. I want the harmony. I want a 6 of something. Let's see. A 4 of cups. Okay. 4 of Cups could be somebody who is really refusing to be present in the environment, because I'm so wrapped up in my ego that I have to wait at the DMV. No, I don't want to smile and laugh and joke and talk to people and look at shoes and look at the wall and like try to count the people in the room or whatever. I don't want to be present here. And I'm going to refuse to find any kind of joy in this moment because it sucks, right? If I can't have my 3 of Cups, if I just can't have pure joy, and be in a situation that is obviously one that I would prefer, I don't want to wait in line at the post office or something. I don't want to wait in the doctor's. I don't want to wait in traffic, right? But could you imagine the life of sitting there and being disgruntled? This looks like someone who's a little disgruntled. Of just being so kind of annoyed, right? And being so just frustrated and angry. And how dare the world, how dare I have to wait in line at the DMV or at the grocery store or in traffic or wait for my, gratification, that we're going to miss a lot of the gifts that the universe is offering us. We're going to be here, we're stuck in line anyway. And I'd rather be stuck next to somebody who has a positive attitude than somebody that just keeps complaining about why they're there. I don't want to be here. I shouldn't have to wait and blah, 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 blah. It's hot in here. It's cold in here. It's too bright. It's too dark. This is where we are. And I guess I'd rather that person just check out, and so that they're not complaining the whole time. But I'd rather be there with someone who's actually awake. The person next to you, oh, you're awake. How you doing? It creates so many new opportunities for us. We got to get out of our stubborn selves sometimes. Anyway, we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, there's a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Taurus, Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.